Hi everybody, Karen here, and I would like to lead you through a short flow that will be energizing as well as tension relieving. So it'll be a great choice for first thing in the morning or for a lunchtime pick-me-up kind of flow. So let's get started. If you've got a yoga block, that's great, have it nearby, and if you don't have a yoga block, no big deal at all. A book will do the job just fine. A nice big book or stack of books would be great. And we'll have it ready kind of near the end of the practice. So let's get started with our flow. Let's begin in child's pose. So to begin in child's pose, we'll take extended child's pose with the knees out, the big toes together, and we'll simply sit the hips back towards the heels. And breathing, the forehead can be on the mat. And just taking a few breaths just to see how you're feeling. Lengthen and deepen each breath. And just start to notice what's going on in your body, what's going on with your mind, and even just taking a moment to focus on the breath. You might already notice some changes happening. So the key is just to notice, soften in, and then as we're ready, we'll come up to a nice tabletop position here, hands and knees. From that hands and knees position, right away we'll come down to the forearms. And you're gonna leave the hips stacked over the knees, and for puppy dog pose or melting heart pose as it's called, we'll crawl the forearms forward to stretch out the front sides of the shoulders. The chin can be on the mat for a little bit more intensity, or the forehead for a little bit less intensity. And again, for more intensity, we wanna send the chest toward the mat, melt the heart. Taking a couple of breaths here. Just settling in. And now as we're ready coming out of this pose, we're gonna just simply come onto our bellies here. And then we're gonna send our left arm out like a wing. This is another stretch for the fronts of the shoulders here. The right hand is gonna come near the right side of my chest. And so I'm gonna push into my palm. The left arm is out like a wing. I'm going to swing over onto my left side. So my right foot is going to be about behind my left knee. And I'm going to breathe into this. If you want more intensity, you can push into that right hand. To release intensity, just release pressure on the right hand, which is right in front of the chest here. Support yourself with that right foot and right hand. Just a couple of breaths into this, and then take a big inhale, and we'll exhale coming back on our bellies, and we'll try out that other side. So we're going to take that right arm out like a wing and that left hand right by the chest, and then swing over onto that right hip. Just see how you're feeling here. And again, you can always come out of it a little bit more, or lean into it for a little bit more intensity on that stretch to the front of that right shoulder. Few breaths. We're thinking of softening in. This is a place where many of us will carry quite a bit of tension throughout the day. So just breathe into it and soften, no forcing here. Take a big inhale. And as we exhale, we'll roll back towards center. And then we'll push up onto the hands and exhale right into our child's pose where we started. Just noticing any differences now, maybe even crawling the hands a little bit farther forward. Any differences between the first time we came into child's pose and this time. Take a big inhale, inhale, inhale. And then we'll exhale to sigh it out. Releasing the jaw here. Great. As we inhale, we're just going to come to all fours and allow the chest to come forward, the tailbone high, squeezing the shoulder blades together, cow. As we exhale, rounding and arching, taking shoulder blades apart into cat. So just a couple of rounds of cat and cow to enliven all these little areas within your spine. Making sure to let the breath lead the movement here. We'll come to a neutral spine here, and as we inhale, now we're going to take the right arm high, reaching it up, and then exhaling, we're going to take the right arm behind the left, and the left hand is going to crawl forward here, thread the needle, so I'm pressing into that left hand. My left hand's pressing over to the left to give me a little bit more stretch through the back of that right shoulder now. So we're really stretching out the back side of the shoulder after the front. Take a big inhale here. And then as we exhale, we're going to roll towards center. As we inhale, the right arm reaches high. As we exhale, coming down to that all fours position, let's take another couple rounds of cat-cow. Inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. Inhaling to sway the back, exhale to round. And we'll meet in that neutral spine here once more. As we inhale, the left arm reaches high. As we exhale, thread the needle left behind right. So the left ear comes to the mat. And even if you wanted to use your block here, if you wanted to bring the floor a little bit closer, you could place your head on that block as well. If you're feeling it, maybe walking that right arm forward and pressing the right hand over to the right. Just seeing how that feels, seeing if there was a difference between the sides here. Enjoying that stretch as well as that twist, the center of the torso just a little compressed here. Take a big inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to roll towards center. As we inhale, the left arm reaches high again, and then exhale into all fours. Right, from that all fours position now, we're going to just send the hands forward, maybe just an inch or two, tucking the toes under and pressing back into downward facing dog. Now just know, you can come back to child's pose at any point during your practice. If your breath starts getting choppy or something just feels like a little bit too much, feel free to go there. If you're good here, just pedaling out the heels, breathing deeply. Try pressing into the forefingers and thumb here on each hand, and then spreading the weight into the other fingers gently. And then as we inhale, both sets of heels come up, and then exhaling, we send the heels toward the mat. Good. So push with that arm strength, push the chest towards the thighs here. Even sending the insides of the elbows forward as you push, just to your degree. As we inhale, looking forward between the hands, and as we exhale, we're just going to take a little walk forward. All right, inhaling to come to a flat back here, exhaling belly towards the thighs, and inhaling to rise, think one vertebra at a time. Top of the inhale sends the palms to touch. Exhale it to heart center. Beginning to make a little bit more movement with the breath. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to bow forward. Inhaling to a flat back here. And then as we exhale, let's plant the hands and begin to walk the feet back into that downward facing dog shape. Next inhale leads the right leg high. Feel that opposition between the left heel and the right toes. And then as we exhale, right knee comes around to the nose or thereabouts, and that right foot steps forward. We're going to take that back knee down. And just for now, coming up just in a kneeling position here. The hands can be right on the thigh. As we inhale, we're going to isometrically send the front heel to the back knee. We're going to come up a little bit as we do this. As we exhale, we're going to sink in. Inhaling to send front heel to back knee. Just think about that little contraction in there, and as we exhale, we let it go, stretching into that hip. Let's try that again. Inhaling to squeeze front to back, and then exhaling. This time we're really gonna sink in. Whoo. Okay, and from here we're just gonna place the hands down and take that right leg all the way back, waving it high. Exhaling to take it down. Let's try that other side. So we're gonna inhale that left leg high, feeling that opposition between the top foot and the bottom. Still pushing equally with both arms if you can, and exhaling, knee comes to nose. That back foot now comes forward. We're gonna come down onto that right knee now, placing the hands right on that top thigh, and we're gonna inhale to squeeze front heel to back knee, and exhale to sink in. And inhaling to squeeze, exhaling to sink. Inhaling to squeeze front heel to back knee, feel that them reaching towards each other, and then exhaling to sink in and really enjoy the stretch this time. Take a big inhale, and exhaling, we're going to take the hands down, and inhaling, just take that left leg all the way high once more. Exhaling, placing that foot down, and just seeing how downward facing dog feels here, not the first time around anymore. Feel free to make it fluid and free, or just enjoy more stillness here. As we inhale, looking forward between the hands. As we exhale, once again, we're gonna walk forward. Inhaling to a flat back number 7 shape. Exhaling, belly towards the thighs. And as we inhale, we rise one vertebra at a time. Top of the inhale sends the palms to touch. Exhaling, we take it to heart center. Just taking a few breaths here. Just with that intention of allowing the breath to guide your movement. Just noticing how you're breathing. Into sun salutation C here. We're going to inhale to rise. Exhale to fold forward, hinging from the hips. Inhaling up to a flat back here, and exhaling to plant the hands and send the left foot all the way back. Back knee is going to come down, and then inhaling, we rise, finding a little back bend, really sink in and enjoy it here. Exhaling, the hands come down, and we take it back to plank. Big inhale in your plank, and exhaling, knees, chest, and chin come to the floor. Elbows tuck in, butt stays high. And as we inhale, sliding forward onto the belly with the elbows hugging back. Baby cobra, try to keep the back of the neck relaxed here. And exhaling into downward facing dog. Inhaling to look forward between the hands. And as we exhale, the left foot steps forward, back knee comes down. Again, we sink into the hips. Inhaling to rise, exhaling, hands down, and stepping it forward. Uttanasana, forward fold is where we're headed. As we inhale, unrolling, think one vertebra at a time. Top of the inhale sends the palms to touch. Exhaling, we come to heart center, checking in with your breath, seeing how you feel. Let's try that other side, sun salutation C. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to bow forward. Inhaling up to a flat back here, and exhaling, the hands plant. We're going to send that right foot all the way back. Back knee is going to come down, sinking through the hips, reaching high, maybe even a little bit more of a back bend, who knows. Exhaling, the hands down and stepping it back to plank. Take a big inhale in your plank, and as you exhale, knees, chest, and chin come to the floor. Inhaling to slither forward from our inchworm into our cobra. Think of pulling the hands isometrically in a direction behind you. And exhaling into downward facing dog. As we inhale, we look forward between the hands. As we exhale, the right foot steps forward. This time back knee comes down. We sink through the hips and inhale to rise to shine the heart. Anjaneyasana, shining the heart forward. Exhaling the hands down and we step it forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. As we inhale, we rise. Think one vertebra at a time. And the inhale sends the palms to touch. Exhaling, the thumbs find heart center. Maybe even your heartbeat, just checking in. And then from here, we'll just flow our way into a standing series, gradually inhaling to rise, exhaling to fold forward, hinging from the hips, inhaling to a flat back, and exhaling, the hands plant, knees bend, step it all the way back to plank. Same exhale is going to take you either through knees, chest, and chin, or if you've got a chaturanga dandasana in your practice, that means sending your chest forward, leading those knees up, inhaling to come forward into your back bend of choice. Maybe it's that baby cobra, or maybe it's an upward facing dog with the knees off the floor, exhaling into downward facing dog here. As we inhale, looking forward between the hands, as we exhale, stepping one foot then the other all the way forward. Inhaling, try that number 7 shape here. Exhaling, belly towards the thighs. And this time, instead of unrolling, let's think of hinging upwards from the hips, leaving the back all in one piece here. Reaching it high, that's a reverse swan dive right there. Exhaling to heart center. Let's go again. We're getting the blood really flowing, the energy moving. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling to bow forward, inhaling to a flat back, and as we exhale, we step it back to plank, or maybe even a light hop. Taking it down into your reverse push-up of choice, inhaling to open up the front side of the body, and exhaling into downward facing dog. Great. So as we inhale from our down dog, our right foot's gonna come high. Maybe this time we even open up the right hip toward the ceiling. So they come out a little bit. Try to maintain equal weight between the hands here. Just be mindful of that. Next, exhale is going to take you through. Knee comes toward the nose, and see how softly you can place that right foot forward. Okay, this time, we're going to leave that back knee up and come up into a crescent warrior shape. And here, again, you can feel the front heel and the back toes kind of hugging towards each other, which is really going to help you balance here. As we exhale, let's take both arms back behind you. And then see if you want to balance just on the right foot, lifting up that left. Warrior 3 variation. Big inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to step that left foot and turn toward the back of the mat. We're going to set up for a warrior 1 here, bending into that left knee. Back right foot is about 45 degrees or so. Hips are gently facing forward, and we inhale to rise. Exhaling to clasp the hands behind you. Maybe even inhaling into a back bend, and as we exhale, just allowing the torso to relax as we can maintain strength in the lower body. Humble warrior. Reaching the hands as high as they want to comfortably go here to get a nice stretch still in the shoulders. As we inhale, let's go ahead and come on up. And now we're going to face the front of the mat again, coming into warrior 2. So back foot about parallel to short side of mat. Think of hugging in with that left thigh. Looking out over right middle finger here. Big inhale, big exhale. As we inhale, let's exalt the warrior. Left hand down the back thigh, maintaining that bend in the front knee. Big inhale here, and as we exhale, let's cartwheel it down, stepping it back to plank. Maybe you're ready for a child's pose here, or maybe you want to take another flow, either knees, chest, chin, or our reverse push-up chaturanga dandasana. Do your back bend of choice, and then meeting up in our downward facing dog. As we inhale, let's take that left leg high. And we'll take that left hip toward the ceiling, bending that left leg. See if you can maintain equal weight in both hands here. Inhaling to take that left leg back high. Exhaling, left knee toward the nose. And then softly, gently placing that left foot forward. Back heel stays up as we inhale our way into crescent warrior. So again, to maintain the balance here, we hug the front heel toward the back toes with that little isometric contraction. Take a big inhale here. As we exhale, we're going to sweep the hands behind you and see if you want to come up onto the balance on this side with that right foot floating. Big inhale here. As we exhale, we'll step the right foot toward the back of the mat, turn toward the back of the mat, setting up for warrior one. Back foot pivots and plants about 45 degrees, bending into that front right knee. Take a big inhale here. As we exhale, clasping the hands behind you, inhaling, tiny little back bend, stretch to the front of the shoulders, and exhale. Just simply allow yourself to fall into humble warrior. Deep breaths here. Notice the beautiful strength in the lower half of the body, and that you can just drape your torso here and stretch out the fronts of your shoulders. As we inhale, we'll come up and warrior two to face the front of the mat now. So warrior two over that left leg. Looking out over that left middle finger. Try to get the shoulders down away from the ears. Hug the shoulder blades towards each other, nice and strong. Make sure that front left knee is moving toward the pinky toe, open out. And then we'll inhale to exalt the warrior here. Few breaths. Take that next inhale. And then as we exhale again, cartwheeling over that left foot, stepping it back, taking your flow or taking a child's pose. And we'll meet up in our downward facing dog. Right. We're going to take another round through this here and really flow through it. Might add on a little bit at the end. So we're going to inhale that right leg high. Maybe open up here. If you got a wild thing in your practice, maybe that right foot comes down. Enjoy a little back bend or not. Good. Coming back to that down dog split, inhaling and exhaling. Just step it through, find crescent warrior here. And right away, those arms come back behind you, coming into that balance. Floating, flexing that back left foot. Big inhale and exhaling to face the back of the mat now, warrior one. Exhaling right into our humble warrior. Inhaling to come up into warrior two toward the front of the mat once more. Next inhale takes you into exalted warrior. Big inhale here. And as we exhale, coming into extended side angle, that right elbow into that right thigh, reaching the left fingertips forward. Maybe even looking up toward that top arm. Inhaling, let's come up once more. This time we're straightening the front knee. And exhaling, coming into a T position, reaching the right fingertips forward, the left hip back, and eventually cartwheeling into our extended triangle pose. Think of getting a lot of space in the left side of the torso, but the right side of the torso as well. And here might want to have a block handy or not, as you take the right hand down onto the floor or onto the block and come into Ardha Chandrasana, balancing half moon. So the hips are opened up in this pose. The floating foot is flexed. Big inhale here. And then as we exhale, come into just a standing splits here. Let the neck go, let the head go. Big inhale to stretch it high, and exhaling, take it back into plank or child's pose. Your reverse push-up of choice or child's pose. Your back bend of choice or child's pose. You get the idea. Pushing back into downward facing dog. Let's try that other side. Really let it flow here. So we're gonna inhale that left leg high. We're gonna open up that hip. We're gonna breathe deeply, and maybe even option to take that left foot down and take a little wild thing here. Just playing around. Inhaling, left leg high. Exhaling, left foot steps forward. Back heel floats. We come up to our crescent warrior. And exhaling to take the hands behind you. Finding that balance, warrior 3 variation. Take a big inhale here. And then as we exhale, stepping it back, setting up for warrior 1 on that other side. Exhaling to clasp the hands behind you right into your humble warrior. Inhaling your way back up to warrior 2 toward the front of the mat. Then exalting the warrior here. Inhaling big, and then exhaling left elbow to left thigh. Find extended side angle. Right fingertips reach forward. Maybe even looking up toward that top arm. Find some space here. As we inhale, we're going to come back up, straightening that front knee, Sky Archer. Exhaling to a T position with the arms. And we're going to zhuzh that right hip back. Reach the left fingertips forward. Reach your edge with that reach before you cartwheel it around, finding your extended triangle. So most important here in our extended triangle is that we're making space. If we find ourselves really crunching through that left side, we come up a little bit, place the hand a little bit higher, and then see if you want to take Ardha Chandrasana, balancing half moon, left hand on the block or on the floor. Reaching the right leg back. Flexing that back foot, almost like you're stepping into a wall behind you. Reaching right arm high. Great, big inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to take the hands down, standing splits. Big inhale to reach that right leg high. And as we exhale, we're going to take the feet a little wider than hip width apart, coming into a yogi squat. So lots of options here. You can always be seated on the block. And you can be up a little bit higher in your squat. But just breathing here. And from here, if you are comfortable with this low, low squat, let's take the hands down and hug in. Just giving yourself a hug here. Maybe the heels even come down. Take a big inhale here. As we exhale, the hands are going to come down and we'll take the butt high, forward fold. Exhaling the butt back. Inhaling the arms high. Utkatasana, chair pose. Almost like you're leaning into a wall behind you here. And that's making me use my core a little bit more. If I reach forward, I've got that counterbalance. It's a little bit easier. To make it more challenging, come up to a more upright spine and really use that core. Woo, big inhale, and then as we exhale again, we'll find another forward fold. Inhaling, find a number 7 shape, and exhaling. See if you want that deep squat, just hugging yourself around the thighs. And again, you don't have to come down this low. If you are this low though, it might be fun to round out the back a lot. Round it out even more. Make sure you got plenty of room behind you here. And eventually the butt's gonna come down. If you're in that higher squat, you could just sit down and eventually roll back. Let's just take a little roll on the floor and then roll back and forth and all around. Again, just seeing how you feel, allowing your heart rate to come down, and you can make sure that you've got a block close by. Just grab that block, and once we're all the way down and all rolled around, we're going to take the feet about hip width apart here, and then inhaling the hips up. Try not to look side to side as you're doing this, and exhaling, take the block. I'm taking it at its lowest height and placing it right under my sacrum to rest my low back on it. So this is supported bridge, allowing the breath to settle, allowing the low back to settle. If you'd like a little bit more stretch on the fronts of the hips even, you can walk the legs out long, that's an option. It might feel a little too tweaky on your low back, but just kind of experiment, see what feels good to you here. Take a big inhale. The belly can really expand in this position. And then as we exhale, let's walk the feet back in the direction of the block. As you're ready, just inhale the hips high, just high enough to take the block up and out of the way. Great, and then to allow the low back to rest even a little bit more, we're going to take the knees together, the feet on the mat, a little wider than hip width apart. And then we're going to take the arms up overhead and see if we can fold the forearms. Again, just saying hello to the shoulders here, and now notice which parts of your body are touching the mat. And see if you can allow them to relax down, to just sink down into it. Might even want to cross the forearms in a different direction after a couple of breaths here. Place the other arm on top. Allow the belly to really move as you breathe and radiate up into the chest, really fill up the lungs here. And then from here, we'll inhale to stretch it out long. Just stretch it out, fingers to toes here, big inhale. And then as we exhale, we're gonna hug it in, rolling it around. All right, and then we'll simply take the left ankle and cross it over that right thigh. So we're bending that right thigh, bending that right knee, the left knee, and we're reaching through that window that the legs are creating. I'm hugging the back of my right thigh here. Little hip stretch into the glutes. Take a big inhale here. And as we exhale, we're going to take the legs over to the right, looking out over that left arm. Maybe we scoot the hips over to the left once or twice. Maybe if this little crossing move of the legs is too much, we might just stack the left leg on top of the right. Maybe that right hand helps out on top of that left thigh. Just see what feels nicest to you in this twist. Compressing the center of the torso. As we inhale, let's come back to center. We're gonna uncross here and stretch it out long. Again, stretch it up, fingers to toes. Big inhale, and we're gonna exhale to hug it in once more. This time, of course, we're gonna cross that right ankle over the left thigh, bend both knees and hug into that number 4 shape. I love how the right elbow can help out with a little gentle pressure on that right thigh here. And just breathing into it. And then when you're ready, releasing this, leaving the legs crossed as they are, we're gonna hop the hips over to the right once or twice, take the knees over to the left, and right arm's out like a wing. We might look out over that right arm. Again, adjusting to where it's gonna feel nice to you. Deep breaths. Exhaling deeper into the twist. And inhaling to release that twist forward. Great. From here, we're just going to even out our hips on the mat. And then take a happy baby. So taking the outer blades of the feet. I love to take the pinky toe side. And just guide the knees gently toward the rib cage, and that really helps release my low back. Breathing into it here. And if you're feeling anything else you'd like to get into near the end of the practice here, it is your practice after all, so feel free to get what you need. When you're ready, just taking the soles of the feet together, the knees apart, lowering the legs down to the mat in a diamond shape here. A passive stretch on the hips to close out our practice. And softening. And then coming into that Shavasana shape by taking the right leg over to the right corner of the mat, the left foot over to the left corner. And again, even this shape, which looks totally relaxing, to some people is just a little too tweaky in the low back. So feel free to come back to one of the previous postures we did if you need to make any adjustments in your back. And once you're settled, just begin to soften here. Begin to let go. You can really allow the benefits of this yoga practice to sink in during this final relaxation. Begin to send a little gentle motion into the fingers, into the toes, into the ankles, into the wrists, into the head as it moves side to side. Neck stays nice and loose here. Maybe even get yourself a big inhale, reaching up overhead, stretching it out fingers to toes, and then exhaling to hug in. Just give yourself a giant hug for making it to your yoga practice today. And then rolling it over to your favorite side, coming to rest there for a moment, allowing yourself to feel heavy into the floor. When you are ready, just coming up to a comfortable seat, just taking a moment just to check in with how you feel. Thank you so much for practicing with me here at Suryasta Yoga. Wishing you a beautiful day and lots of deep breaths.